Our next story is about a problem that most of us can relate to. It's called digital hoarding. Are you also guilty of holding on to excessive digital data? If so, this story will help you deal with the issue.
How many of you have clothes in your wardrobe that you don't use anymore, but you wouldn't want to part with them either? Probably most of us can relate to it. We hoard items of clothing with the intention of wearing them someday, but what happens mostly is that they keep piling up and eventually get lost in the clutter, or we run out of space to store them. Interestingly, this practice is not just limited to the offline world. Our phones, laptops, and other devices are a proof of hoarding in the online world. Just think about how many spam email or other junk mails are lying in your inbox. In other words, many people store data that they don't need. In fact, they don't revisit that data ever, but they still keep it and never erase it. And this makes them digital hoarders. Would be surprised to know that digital hoarders have certain behavior patterns and can be broadly classified into these types. The collector is in control of data. This category holds on to digital content in an organized and systematic way. The anxious hoarder doesn't like to get rid of any data. This type of personality has strong emotional ties to the data and is worried about deleting it. And then there are the accidental hoarders, disorganized. They don't know what data they have and have little control over it. But what are the ill effects of digital hoarding? You may not realize this, but keeping unnecessary data affects us in different ways. It impacts individual users, companies, and even the planet. Let's understand how bad digital hoarding can be for us. The most obvious downside is that you have to compromise on storage. For most of us, no amount of storage is enough, so dedicating a large chunk of storage space to data that we actually don't require defies logic. The more data you keep on your device, the harder it is for the drive mechanism to locate the files you want. In other words, too much data slows down the retrieval process of data, affecting the performance of your device. What's worse, the more data you keep, the more susceptible you may become to risks and cyber threats. Data hoarding is a threat to climate change as well. We don't hoard data only on our local storage. A large amount of it goes into cloud storage as well. Such files are managed by large data servers that use a considerable amount of energy. This, in turn, adds to the carbon footprint. According to a study carried out by the Institution of Engineering and Technology in London, the photo hoarding habits of Britishers carry higher carbon costs per year than round-the-world flights. They contribute over 355,000 tons of carbon dioxide every year through unwanted pictures alone. It is the equivalent to the entire population of Chelmsford flying to Australia and back. And now it's time to find out if you are a digital hoarder. Let's see if you are suffering from digital hoarding, how you can recognize the symptoms, and also tips on how you can fix the Digital hoarders take a long time to find anything on their devices. This one is easy. Make technology do the organizing for you. Create necessary folders and get rid of data that has run its expiry date. Also, set up filters in your emails so that you don't miss important messages and spam goes straight to the junk folder. If any of these things resonate with you, you probably are a digital hoarder. It's time to correct your habits and regain control of your digital life.